We are 48 schools across 14 cities, but together we are one Shawnee mission, and this is our time to shine.
Welcome back to episode 21 of Shawnee Mission Mic'd Up. This is our final episode of season 1. It's hard to believe we've gone through 21 episodes, but for those of you who haven't been following us, my name is Michelle Hubbard, and I am the host of Shawnee Mission Mic'd Up.
And I'm Dr. Jeremy Higgins, the co-host of Shawnee Mission Mic'd Up. Glad that you're tuning in for our season finale. It's hard to believe, as you mentioned, that this is it. It just seems like yesterday we were kicking off last July and didn't know what we were in for, and we've made it through 20 episodes and on to 21.
That's right. So I want to talk a lot more about that, but let's recap our episode 20 real quickly with Indian Hills Middle School Service Project for SPCA.
Yeah, had Mr. Manuel in, one of the FACS teachers and one of the kind of the leaders of that service project, and then Andrew Bucati, who's an 8th grade student over at Indian Hills. It was really cool to just hear, number one, what they did, but also just know that we have kids like actively participating in service projects and service organizations and giving back. Such a kind of a heartfelt type of activity to participate in, and it's just good to hear those things.
So I agree with you 100%, and I know that all over the district we have amazing service projects happening and giving back to the community, and I loved also that the faculty at Hills had this intentionality, like they have this committee that works specifically with connecting themselves as well as kids to the community, so that was cool too.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, just building that passion and drive for giving back to the community. I don't think we can ever start that, or that can ever start too early within oneself. So hopefully that continues, and we'll look forward to what Indian Hills does next year and years forward as they continue to look at the service project and what it evolves into.
Absolutely. So today we have the new host and co-host for season 2. But before we introduce them and let them tell us a little bit about their ideas, I want to recap season 1.
Sounds like a good idea.
So I was processing back as I was thinking about this episode, and I was thinking why we did Shawnee Mission Mic'd Up to begin with. And I have to give full credit to Brad Stratton, who was a previous board member for us, because right when I was hired as superintendent, like within weeks, he said, "Hey, Michelle, how about a podcast?" And in my mind, I was thinking, how do I pacify him long enough that he forgets about this? Because I had no intentions or no idea, no wants or needs to have a podcast. So I gave it a year, and then I was attending this conference year 2 as a superintendent, and it was the National School Board Conference where a school was talking about their podcast. And so I thought, well, I will attend. Dr. Schumacher, I think you were with me. I was like, I'm going to attend this. And so we did, and it didn't seem so overwhelming at the time. And I was like, this could be really a cool idea, right? And so here we are. And so I drew.
And you suckered me into it.
Did.
I remember that phone call very vividly. So,
what did I tell you?
Hey, can you come up? I need to run something by you.
But I did give you the opportunity before I ever started.
You did. However.
I said, Dr. Higgins, you can say no.
Yeah,
say no.
And we know what that means.
Did
that
you
means
really
you
feel like you could say no?
No, absolutely not. But I'm also, it's been fun.
But then the next day he called and said, I'm kind of excited
Yeah,
about this.
100%. 100%. I listen to talk radio all the time. I feel like that's all this is.
It was great. So as I think back to that first episode, and just, we were nervous and we didn't really, we really didn't know where this was going, but I just think about the first episode and being able to shout out the start of the school year. I remember we were talking about Corinth and their ability to reach out to their kindergartners and food service and operations and maintenance team and just what it takes to get a school year started. And now we're on the back end of that where we're closing it down.
Yeah. So I am curious, and I think we probably talked about this, but maybe not. So why did Brad want you to start a podcast? Maybe one. And then, like, what were your goals for starting the podcast? Like, at the end of the day, you hoped that the podcast would do this. I think we talked about it, but maybe...
I think we talked about it in the original episode in regards to communication. Shawnee Mission has a really long history of different types of opportunities to share our story.
Yeah.
And so this is just one more of those opportunities, and it's just picking up a different audience. I think we were very intentional about, we wanted to be about 20 minutes. That's sort of the average commute to work. Or people could throw on their AirPods and go for a walk. But ultimately, it's about telling our story. It's about talking about the amazing staff that we have in the Shawnee Mission School District, the 26,000 plus amazing kids we have here, and it's just an opportunity to tell people about the great things happening.
Yeah, and I think when you look back at all of our episodes, like, this format has allowed us to pull in all those different voices and really highlight so many different things. I mean, we've had students in here, but also out on site that we've talked to. We've had staff members, we've had parents, community members, board members, and highlighting so many different things from all of our different feeder patterns, all of our different levels. It's been really fun to be able to really highlight and show those amazing things that are happening. It
is fun to think about who haven't we highlighted, right? So elementary, middle, high, our earliest learners. We had an opportunity to do some shout out with special education and talk about different devices that we use. And so I was trying to think if I had a favorite, and I honestly could not come up with one. For me, my favorites are just being able to tell our story and all the different stories. But I love having kids on here.
Yeah.
I love having
That's
kids.
kind of a cop-out answer, though. That's okay. I'm going to do the same thing. No, my favorites were when, and I said favorites, not just one, was when we got to go out to location. So the ones that come to my mind were when we went to Shawnee Mission West to talk about snow days. I should mention also, like, not all of our episodes were just all fun and, about the amazing things, but also some serious topics. We talked about attendance one time, which is kind of a heavy topic, and we talked about snow days, which can be fun, but also there's some implications that come with snow days as well. So, but when we got to go out and talk with kids about snow days and shot some footage that we got to you used on Twitter as part of the announcement, I think was a lot of fun. Going to Comanche and talking about their March Madness book drive and having our friend on there, that was pretty cool as well. So, and I will also say, the episode where we went to the SMAC PTA clothing closet, sometimes one thing that the podcast allowed me to do was get outside of my bubble a little bit and out of my comfort zone and learn about some things about the district that I didn't honestly know about. And that was one of the things. And it was really eye-opening to see what they do and how they do it and who all they serve. So
I learned something on every single podcast also, and I loved that. I think our best podcasts were ones where we didn't really plan and it was very genuine and authentic. So I loved that as well. If I had to come up with a favorite, it probably was, and I'm sorry, I'm going to leave you
I know
out.
where this is going.
You should have been here.
I know.
At Shawnee Mission South when the basketball game, but I think it was more about being on the location, having all the excitement, but more importantly, those kids were in their element, right? And it was just fun to watch them. And since then, I can't remember if I mentioned this previously, but I just saw an announcement that Prince Miller, who was one of the co-hosts, has become the videographer for Pitt State football. And I can't wait to watch his work this next year. So that's going to be really good. And then Tad Lambert, I just ran into him. He was actually recording for us at the R&D Forum. And so we had a little conversation. And I cannot remember the school, but he's going to school in Southern California. I was pretty jealous.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
Well,
I think we should probably put a pin in season 1 and maybe transition over to season 2.
Yeah, we learned a lot. It was fun, but I'm excited for season 2.
Me too, to sit back and watch and listen and not have to be on the hot seat anymore.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So, Dr. Schumacher is going to be the host for season 2 of Shawnee Mission Mic'd Up. You want to introduce your co-host?
Absolutely. Hey, Brittany.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, so super excited to be working with Brittany Gonzer next year. She is our Director of Professional Learning. Wonderful educator, someone who's been with the school district for how long, Brittany?
9 years.
9 years,
Yeah.
same as me.
Time flies when you're having fun.
That's right. Been a building principal, been an instructional coach in the district, and now at the district office, and tons of experience. So, you want to tell them a little bit more about yourself?
Sure, absolutely. Just excited for the opportunity. I think probably somewhat similar to Dr. Higgins. Met it with a little bit of excitement, a little bit of hesitation, but mostly just a chance to try something new, right? Stretch yourself a little bit. We're always encouraging our kids and our teachers to do the same. So let's do it. Let's try something new, learn a new skill set, and get to tell some stories of the wonderful people we work with. So, yeah.
And congratulations to you guys. I mean, what a legacy you're leaving, honestly. I mean, it was an incredibly successful season, and we have incredible shoes to fill, Dr.
Yeah, no doubt. That is not lost on us.
I do love that we can say we started James.
Yeah, brand new.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
it's exciting. So we talked a little bit about our goals of starting it and what we hope to gain.
Yeah.
Is there anything you guys would add that you would like to gain, or, send it forward?
100%. Yeah, I think a lot of similar ideas that you have, Dr. Hubbard. The biggest thing is to continue to celebrate and cheerlead the great things that our staff and our kids are doing. You mentioned the 26,000 kids. As we were brainstorming just this week, some ideas for next year, that's where I'm at. I want to get out. I want to see kids. I want to get kids here. They're doing incredible things. And this is a great format to connect with more and more people. So that's a big thing. A lot of times in our roles, we have to be pretty formal with our delivery and how we present ourselves. This is an opportunity, I think, where we can kind of, let people in and see Brittany and I and others in a different light. So I'm really excited about that piece too. Brittany, any other ideas?
Yeah, one thing that's been a great experience the past 3 years in this role has been getting to interact with so many people in different places around the district. And I learn something all the time and see new things that I didn't even know were out there. So just the chance to bring that to other people as well, kind of bring down some walls a little bit, make everybody feel a little bit closer. I think that's just a great opportunity, and I'm excited to do some of that work.
Thoughts on potential episodes?
Yeah, so we brainstormed quite a few yesterday. I took some notes. I'll try to talk off the cuff before I look at my notes. But starting off, we of course are starting a new strategic plan that we're going to take to the Board of Education in June. And so, very early on, we're going to be celebrating that and talking with our community about what that's going to look like and some of those initial action steps that we'll be taking. A lot of great things that will be beginning the school year. New teacher academy, new team member academy. I apologize. We changed that nomenclature a couple years ago. You guys didn't do that last. So
we did not.
Yeah.
Did we?
I don't think so.
No, we had.
We mentioned
it, but
it wasn't.
Teachers on.
Yeah.
Jill Johnson and Abby Allen.
Yes.
Yeah, at Rose Hill, talking about, and Abby talked a little bit about that in regards to being a new teacher.
But it's such an incredible event, a celebration of the hard work of our HR team, really the entire district, and the great new people that we're welcoming into our community. And so we spent a lot of time and effort on that, and it's a great celebration again of the Shawnee Mission School District. So that's going to be one big piece. We do some great things around SMSD Recruit. That's one. And then we're going to be looking for, again, ways to highlight what kids are doing out there. So other ideas, Brittany? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think kids will be a consistent staple. That's always, kind of where we all draw our joy and energy from. So, but in addition to that, I know we really want to prioritize just what's happening in the district, things that are timely, things that people are involved in. So some of those big events, we'd like to just bring more perspective to. So things like, the R&D Forum. What an incredible tradition to, I think, was it 68 years or something like that this year? Don't quote me on that, but it's quite a few years that we've been doing that. So things like that are just important in our community that we can share some new perspectives and things I think will be exciting.
I hadn't thought about this till just now, but SMSD Recruit podcast, then you can use it on the recruiting trail.
That's right.
Fun.
I'm sure somebody's thought of that.
Maybe. I'm impressed that you've been thinking about next year with this, with everything else going on. Man.
There's a few things going on. Dr. Hubbard and I have been transitioning, since, I'm surprised you didn't mention.
Since January?
Since January, that's right.
I know where this is going as well.
But you didn't mention your favorite, the introducing the new superintendent as your favorite podcast.
It may not have been my favorite episode, but it definitely was a favorite of our listeners because it had the most listeners of any episode we had this year. So
Just saying.
They wanted to know what they're getting to have lead the district in the future.
Yeah, but to your point of thinking about next year, there's been a lot of that over the last 3 months. Michelle has been incredible with her time and generous with her ideas with me and how to continue to carry on the great tradition of Shawnee Mission. But yeah, tons of planning. We've got great people here that are going to assist us as we move forward.
Yeah. Brittany, what you mentioned some apprehension at first. Talk with us, and both of you. What are you guys most nervous about in stepping into this?
And I think anytime something's new and just totally out of your wheelhouse, right? I've never done anything like this before. So just, stepping out, trying something different. I think, not knowing what I don't know is probably maybe the most apprehension related to that. But all here for it.
Yeah. Just not messing up what you guys have started. You guys have done a great job, and you've got some great viewership, so continuing that and hopefully trying to extend the viewership. But I'm nervous about some things for next year. This isn't one of them for some reason. I don't know why. Ask me about the foundation breakfast. That's one thing I'm a little nervous about. But this, we can do retakes and
you don't
things
need
like
a
that.
Co-host for that.
I don't.
Mike?
Not. Yeah. I don't.
I was hoping that's what
not
you'd
at this
say.
point.
I was really nervous about this, and I shouldn't have been. So I think you're right on track.
Cool.
Right on track.
I would say, as if there were any advice that we could give, and not that we should necessarily give advice, but I would just say have fun with it. I think looking back when we first started this, I remember going into the first episode, we had like an hour-long planning meeting, and we scripted everything out, and we've gotten to the point where we're just, there's some things, some background we do, but it's a lot of just conversation, and we try to have fun with it. So I think that's the biggest thing that I would share with you guys.
The other advice I have is coach your guests to be the same.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a conversation. Like, and we talked to him about that. We don't want you to be scripted. We want this to be a conversation. So that's the other advice I would give.
So obviously this is the last episode for season 1. When can we expect season 2 to kick off?
Yeah, great question. So we're thinking early August. All of us are going to be transitioning. As you guys know, June and July are an incredibly busy time of year. So we would be recording something in July and then dropping in August would be our hope. Let people kind of get their feet wet with the new school year and celebrate the new podcast. There'll be some branding. So we're thinking about maybe a new intro song, some graphics, maybe something tied to our new theme, which we'll drop at some point.
Love a good theme.
Yeah, you do love a good theme.
I do love a good theme.
I love that. I'm assuming the music will come from a different kid in the district.
That's
so
right.
That's cool.
Yeah, you guys do a great job with that consistent quote at the end.
Yeah.
So we're brainstorming what that may look like for us. And so you'll just have to tune in later to find out what it ends up being.
Sounds
okay,
good.
I'm
Sounds
excited
good.
for that.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
So before we leave, I do have a quote, but let's do our credits really fast.
So as we're finishing up, and you mentioned new theme song, just one last shout out to Logan DeAngelis, student at Shawnee Mission West, for creating the theme music for Shawnee Mission Mic'd Up that we used this year. So huge kudos to that, to our communications team. Obviously, the amount of work that you guys do to put this show on is hugely impactful and does not go unnoticed. So thank you guys for all of that.
Logan's also going to have the legacy to be like, I had the first music in the first Shawnee Mission.
And we've said his name a lot.
We have. Good for him.
100%,
Good for him.
100%.
So as we think about you all moving on and starting season 2, this is the quote that we're leaving with you. The stars are shining brightly, just like the potential hidden within you. And we think you both have great potential, and we think it's going to be much better than season 1. So we're excited about that. I do have a little last thing to leave with you all. This energy stick, right? Yep. So it's got a lot going, right?
It does.
We think you all need it. We think you all need some energy here, but
Let's do it.
We have to be a team to do this. So we're gonna have to scooch in, and Dr. Higgins.
I'm gonna stand up and.
Same.
Yep.
So are we doing like one finger each on this?
Actually, I think if Mike takes the end and Brittany takes the end, you can see that it's not the same without all of us, right?
Gotcha.
So all we need is you need to touch Mike. Didn't work for us. Why?
There we go.
We got
That
it.
worked.
There it is.
Nice.
So there's the energy for you all. I'm
Perfect.
passing the baton.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Congratulations, Dr. Hubbard.
Thank you so much. All right. And until next season 2, shine on, Shawnee Mission.